Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Now we shine a spotlight on DHub Challenge, a brand new TV series.
The Developers Hub Challenge is a digital innovation contest that actually seeks innovative ideas, business models, and digital solutions that will enable TNT's digital transformation journey. This morning, we're going to chat a little bit about the TV series that was made out of that, that's airing right here on TTT from today, April 22nd. This morning, I have with me Devendra Ramnarayan, who's an advisor regarding digital transformation. We have Daniel Sionarayan, who is one of the hosts and analysts representing for digital transformation, and Okera Duncan, who's the other host and analyst as well for digital transformation. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for
How are we doing this morning?
Blessed and highly flavored.
Amen.
All right, so we reached church one time. I love that. All right, Devendra, let me start with you. Tell us about the Hub Challenge TV series and what does it aim to achieve?
So thank you for having us, and thanks to the listening audience. There are many, many reasons for this, and I'll just touch on the two main ones. The first is we need to showcase the tremendous ingenuity, innovation, and capability of our developers. And secondly, we're hoping that we will attract a lot of new developers into our ecosystem. So we're trying to build up a community of developers so we can create a product for export.
And this contest is the best way to do that?
It's the best way to communicate in a different way to excite people about becoming part of this ecosystem.
And why make it into a TV series?
To build up a little bit of attention. So what we would have done is we would have had a lot of developers, at least 15 teams, creating solutions on 5 problem areas. Each team has come at the problem in a slightly different way.
Okay.
We have judged them on a number of criteria, but the pitch is where the ultimate endpoint is, where you'd have come from an idea out of your head, and you'd have produced a product. And now we're giving you a chance to show the world what you're capable of. This artifact will remain for them to show forever as something they would have achieved to this point.
So basically what I'm hearing you saying is that we say we have problems that we need to solve, and we're going to use technology to solve those problems, but we want young people to come up with these solutions for themselves.
Yes.
So we have them come and they pitch. This is how it starts. They come and they pitch their idea, and then we say, all right, we pick out of those for you to then now execute your idea.
A little bit further than that. We started with the first call to them. These are the 5 problem areas. We have people who are registered in our Developers Hub, and we got about 50 responses, different groups of people coming up with different ways of solving the problem. We went through that evaluation, and we picked 15 teams. They're either one person or up to about 3 people.
Okay.
And what they have done now is they've produced a piece of software. And what they're doing now is pitching it to the world, pitching it to a panel of judges, introduced by our young host here. And what we're giving them is an opportunity to win $350,000 to take that idea that they have built out in a piece of software into something that will go into production. So in the end of the day, it's out of their head all the way to a product that's going to be used, in this instance, by government.
All right, okay, let me jump across to you. How did the challenge itself contribute to fostering innovation and digital skills right here in TNT?
I would say the DHub in and of itself is an innovation, and specifically with the challenge, what we would have done is we introduced this concept of GovTech.
Right.
And for those of you who may be looking on, GovTech is really about a new procurement model between government and private citizens and actors, where we come together, or those parties rather come together to co-create and experiment to create solutions for these different agencies and institutions. So what has happened with the Developers Hub Challenge is that we have these private citizens, our developers, coming together with these different government agencies. And this is really the first time in Trinidad and Tobago, especially, something like this has been done. It's different from a simple procurement model. And I'd really like to thank our consultants from Lithuania, NRD, who would have been really instrumental in introducing this concept to us, but in true Trinbagonian fashion, we took it, we ran with it, and we came up with the DHub Challenge. So DHub in and of itself is very innovative. Our developers are very much pleased, because for many of them, this is the first time that they've actually worked with government, and for this to be their first interaction, they find it very heartwarming and reassuring in terms of the future of Trinidad and Tobago, especially where tech is concerned.
I know for a while people were very concerned about that relationship between the government and the private sector, especially when it comes to technology. But I'm really happy that this is one way that we can say we're definitely contributing to it.
Definitely.
But Daniel, tell me, what impact do you hope that the TV series will actually have on young developers and tech enthusiasts?
Well, Rockers, first and foremost, we really hope that this series sparks an interest in the DHub as a platform,
Right.
as a technology ecosystem in itself, and actually go on to visit the website and sign up for the DHub, where they can actually access resources, access mentorship and training, and ultimately engender an entrepreneurship mindset in our local tech population, seeing that their ideas and their skill sets are actually monetizable, and that they could be change agents right in their community solving real world problems.
Okay, I hear you, that's fair. Devendra, tell me, any of them stood out to you in particular?
I wouldn't want to pick on one, because I think what we have are 15 individuals or small teams
Right.
that have done tremendously exciting work.
All right, give me an example then of some of the solutions being presented.
So there were 5 challenges. If I
Okay.
take, for example, TT Post.
Okay.
There's this new concept of S42 addresses, which didn't quite go down well with the population.
That's the zip codes.
The equivalent as zip codes. So one of the things that we put out there to the developers, can you create something that's innovative that will cause people to want to utilize the S42 address and to do something in a very easy way? And some of the solutions that they produce out of their head and expressed it in a piece of software, which is a proof of concept, use of QR codes, the way that you can exchange these S42 addresses, the way that you could find it, the way you could communicate it to agencies. And you'll see different ways and different approaches to solving the problem. And really the innovation of our young people coming to bear, taking an idea out of their head
Right.
and putting it into a piece of software. And so that would be one of the examples.
You mentioned that there were 5 different areas that we're looking for solutions. TT Post is one. Can you give me the other 4?
EMA.
EMA.
So this would be a mechanism to report noise, which is a constant complaint.
Oh boy. All right, go ahead. That's a solution I waited on a long time. Go ahead.
Tracking of passports,
Okay.
so that as it goes through, citizens will be aware where the passports would be at.
What do you mean when you're applying for the
When
passport?
you're applying for the passport, to be able to track it, so you wouldn't have to call or to try and come in to follow up where it is at. Liquor license, but that's more of an internal one, where bar owners would have been complaining of how long it would take you to get your liquor license.
Yeah, but that's a government function
That's
that
a
we're trying
government-
to sort of find a
that's
solution for.
government
So, okay.
function. Health, so that there's an opportunity here for you to come onto the Ministry of Health and to actually get personalized service. What was the 5th again?
I think your name.
And that was the 5. That was the 5
That was
there.
5, yeah.
But Daniel, tell me, how do you think this will impact the Caribbean in general, like the diaspora?
Yeah, that's a big question. I think flowing from what Okera was saying, this series has the potential to change how young people interact with government and how they perceive government as a whole and public service, right? From this stiff and starchy, monolithic, archaic kind of structures to something a lot more innovative, free-flowing, and embracing digital transformation. And going on from that now, this one hits a bit closer to home. I'm a returning scholar. Okera is a returning scholar. Dev was a scholar in his time. It will
Don't say
reduce
it
brain
so,
drain.
this time you gotta say it so.
This is more, sir. So it would reduce brain drain,
Right.
especially for those scholars that would have studied ICT-based programs, because they now see a place for them in government. Yeah.
Do you think that is comparable to what they would be offered elsewhere?
I think it's comparable in terms of the impact that
Okay.
they'd be able to have on their home soil. You know?
I know
Yeah.
that's important, because that impact, having an impact on the ground, really makes a difference, because
Exactly.
you feel like you're making a difference, and that
Basically, yeah,
contributes
yeah.
a big chunk to your ego for one, but definitely to your sense of home.
Exactly.
Okay, Ro, tell me about the resources that Daniel would have mentioned that's available on the Hub website.
I just first like to say DHub has been a labor of love. And as it pertains to the DHub challenge in specific, I could remember being up until midnight. We had about 50 submissions for the DHub challenge. And we were up, our project team, our software developers, internal at the MDT, were up until midnight with people. Had people skating in 10 minutes, like five minutes coming up to the
Deadline.
the deadline of the challenge, etc. So we really go full on and full throttle in when it comes to supporting our developers. And this is something that they've constantly been saying. We've provided so many different training, because especially on the DHub platform, they have access to a lot of different trainings. We had trainings provided from NRD who came in and trained them in how to pitch, how to sell their ideas, how to do user research, and all of these key critical skills, because apart from just the digital skills that we want developers to hone in on and build their craft in coding and software development, we also want to hone in on those softer skills. We want to hone in on being able to pitch to investors, because we want to create entrepreneurs. We want to build the digital economy of Trinidad and Tobago. And in order to do that, we need to equip the software developers to eventually, who knows, we could have a Caribbean, a Trinidadian rather, unicorn, persons who come up with innovative business ideas that could really catapult Trinidad and Tobago into the,
So regarding, those facilities, right, those training facilities especially, are they going to be available after the challenge is done as well?
They're available all now.
Okay.
If you register on the DHub platform, once you're eligible to register, you could go on. There's training programs, and we're constantly always offering new training programs, for example, from Coursera, from Simply Learn, from Linux Foundation, for example. And we have a few coming up very soon with some of our edu partners like UTT, for example. So we have a lot of resources on there.
Nice. Daniel, tell me about some of the lessons that you will have learned hosting this DHub challenge.
Yeah, well, it was my first time hosting a TV series, so a lot of, late nights, coaching sessions with a producer director, learning how to be on set, how to have a presence on set while at the same time being yourself. That's maybe the biggest take home for me, right? There's an audience for me. Generally, naturally, I'm a bit more of a quiet/introverted style of speaker, but I would have learned that there's an audience for me just to be myself on set, just as, throwing that out to our developers, there is a problem waiting for your solution, right?
No, and that's a very valuable lesson, because yes, everybody does have a place, and it's just for you to find where that place is for you. Devendra, tell me, how do you envision the legacy of the Hub extending beyond the challenge, beyond the TV series?
So, Ruckus, I wanted to mention something first, though. We actually won in 2023 IDB's Praise Award for Innovation, put us a little bit on the regional stage. And a couple of weeks ago, we were one of the winners of the WSIS 2024 champions, which means we competed with projects across the world, and we were selected as a champion.
Which project was it?
WSIS?
No, but which project?
Developers Hub.
The Developers
the whole
Hub.
Concept.
Okay.
So the Developers Hub ultimately is trying to cause developers to make money. If you make money, you could hire people. If you hire people, you start forming small companies.
And that's how the economy thrives.
That's exactly what we're trying to achieve. So the series is simply there to excite people about the possibilities, to see themselves in the series, and to get excited about becoming part of it. So we do have follow-up things that will happen. We're going to bring in children from the ages of 16 to 18. As Okero would have mentioned, we're bringing in live training from UTT. We are introducing, we think within 6 to 8 months, challenges that are not tied to government necessarily. We're inviting the private sector. And if there are private sector listeners out there, please call us. We want you to sponsor a challenge. And that could be simply do you have a good idea? Can you take it from idea out of your head and produce something that could be sold? And you ultimately will make the money. You will then get an opportunity to hire people and grow into a small company. And then we're expanding the Developers Hub to include other categories of people as well. But that's
another phase, We'll talk about that phase when we get to that phase. But guys, the really important question that everybody's going to be asking by the end of this week, is there going to be a season 2?
For sure.
For sure.
Yep.
I find Okera say it fast, like he doesn't know what happened already. Well, Devendra, Daniel, Okera, let me say congratulations. And of course, we look forward to the DHub Challenge TV series right here on TTT, kicking off from today. And you can stay tuned, because there's also going to be a live version of it on Saturday. This is the finale, where we get to see who is going to be crowned the winner of the DHub Challenge TV series 2024, at least season 1. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Not a problem at all. We take a quick break and we come back with more inside the Now Morning Show. Stick around.